National Credit Act, which is NCA, before credit providers extend loans to consumers, they are required to conduct an affordability assessment to understand the consumer's general knowledge and appreciation of the cost and legal risks of the proposed credit. But this doesn't always happen, and many consumers find themselves over-indebted and having to pay high interest due to these unscrupulous credit providers. But to talk to us more about this, we're joined now in our studios by Lebogang Selibi. She is Media Relations Officer at the National Credit Regulator. Sis Lebo, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. Good morning to you too.
You and I were having a conversation of it. Do you really still get people who complain about January?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we do. Some people obviously don't save enough for January, and another reason is that people get paid around the 15th of December and will be paid at the end of January. So it's literally like six weeks compared to the 4 weeks that we used to. And obviously January has its own additional expenses like school uniform, stationery. So if you didn't buy those in December, it will also affect your budget during the January month.
But the festive season have surely left many people broke at this current moment. What are the reasons for consumers to borrow money at this moment, more so in January?
There's different reasons why people would borrow. Some it's because they didn't save. Some it's because of unforeseen circumstances. Maybe somebody died and they needed additional money. The policies didn't pay. So it's really different reasons. But we say for whatever reasons, borrow wisely. Only borrow what you need to borrow.
And we know that schools are reopening on Wednesday, so high levels of stress for stationery, for new uniform and such, and many consumers will certainly fall prey to unsecured loans. What should they be on the lookout for before signing any agreements and contracts? Yes,
before you sign a contract, you must get a pre-agreement statement and quotation. These would outline the cost of credit, your monthly service fee, the debt that you're taking, your once-off initiation fee. If there's credit insurance, it would be outlined, your deposit, your first installment, last installment. So before you even sign your contract, you know from the pre-agreement statement and quotation what you're getting yourself into. And we're saying only borrow from the registered credit providers. Those people that are registered with the NCR, they should have a certificate with an NCRCP number, and they should have a window decal. It's the orange sticker that we normally see at banks and so forth. So they should be registered before you go and borrow.
But as much as you making that call, we do know that there are many loan sharks out there who are not registered with the NCR. How should consumers protect themselves from these loan sharks?
Consumers, as I said, they should only borrow from registered people. At least if they are registered, we can be able to trace them. We can be able to assist you. Consumers shouldn't leave their ID documents, SASA cards, banking cards with credit providers. And especially on the internet, you get those credit providers that would say pay an upfront fee, pay lawyer's fee before they could actually extend credit to you. So we're saying don't pay anything upfront. If you're looking for a loan, they should give you the loan first, and the only thing you would be paying is your first installment. So people shouldn't fall into prey of paying before they actually get the loan.
But what happens to them once they have? Because we still get those who have left their cards with loan sharks, their SASA cards and bank accounts and so on. It still happens. It's the reality. It still happens.
Yeah, it still happens. We do a lot of education around that all over the country, teaching people not to leave their cards and pins. In terms of the National Credit Act, it's actually a criminal offense for a credit provider to take the person's ID, bank card, PIN number and so forth. So people should lay charges at their nearest police station if their cards are taken by the credit providers, and they can also come and lodge a complaint at the NCR.
All right. And your statement talks about honesty from the consumer side, that when you go for such agreements and contract, you should be open about your credit background and so on. Talk to us about this. Why is it important for consumers to provide information that's honest?
Yes, I think we should create a balance. Consumers should be honest, especially when declaring their living expenses or their household expenses. If you're giving a limited amount for your monthly expenses, it would affect you in the future, because you wouldn't be able to pay for your
and you get sales
installment.
people who also encourage them to.
Sometimes they do encourage and say just lower it a bit in order for you to qualify. Even if you do, at the end of the day, you are the one signing for that particular agreement, and it bounds you as a person.
All right, Ausleb, we will leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, Lebogang Selibi is Media Relations Officer at National Credit Regulator, talking to us about the importance of borrowing wisely in this month of January. Make sure that you do not fall prey to unscrupulous credit providers out there. All right, it's 8 o'clock on the dot. It's time for your news, and Leanne is standing by with the details.